Sometimes, at the end of my Fun with Flags videos, I talk about flags that are similar to the one we've been looking at. Well, today I thought I'd make a video entirely dedicated to that, because there's a lot of flags in the world that look very much alike, apart from a few details. So let's find out which flags these are and why they look alike. Starting with the one on the thumbnail, the US and Malaysia. They look very similar. The only difference is in the top left corner. While the US have a blue field with white stars representing the number of states, Malaysia has a yellow crescent moon and a 14-pointed star, which, funny enough, represents the 13 federal states as well. While the crescent represents Islam, the country's religion. It's said that the origin of the two flags is the same, although the US one was implemented much earlier. That origin is the flag of the East India Trading Company, which had a Union Jack on the top left and red and white stripes. While in the US, some people say that the first American flag was created by altering a physical trading company flag. The Malaysian inspiration is supposed to have come from an architect who designed a flag proposal being influenced by the historical British colonial flag, but who knows if this is true. Liberia also has a flag very similar to the US, but this is probably because the country began as sort of an American colony in Africa. Their capital of Monrovia is even said to be named after US President Monroe. When we talk about Liberia, we can also mention the flag of Chile and subsequently the flag of Texas, which come very close in their use of red, white, and blue, displaying a single star on the top left corner. But the most obvious when we think about this similar flag issue is Romania and Chad. Romania has a vertical tricolor, blue, yellow, and red. And so does Chad. The only difference is that Chad's blue is slightly lighter, being defined as indigo blue, while Romania has cobalt blue. The Romanian flag dates from 1861, based on earlier versions with horizontal stripes and the colors of its provinces, while the flag of Chad was first used in 1959, after the country had achieved independence from France, from whom they likely modeled their flag. Its original design had a green stripe, but it too closely resembled the flag of Mali, so they decided to be similar to Romania instead, which I guess is at least further away. Speaking of Mali, they have a green, yellow, and red flag, and one country in Africa is very similar to it, Senegal. But Senegal decided to add a green star in the center. Also in close proximity in terms of flags is Guinea, but with the colors reversed. But there are two more flags that use the exact color scheme of Romania and can be confused among each other or with the other two, Andorra and Moldova. Each of them also use these three colors on a vertical striped flag, and in fact Moldova's flag is probably literally modeled after Romania, given that they're geographically next to each other. Andorra switches it up with their coat of arms. However, in this flag, the central stripe is technically 1/8 thicker than the other two. Next, we have Poland and Indonesia. Poland's flag is as simple as you can get. Two horizontal stripes, white on top and red on the bottom. And Indonesia wanted to keep it simple as well. Their flag is the opposite, red on top and white on the bottom. When Poland uses its flag abroad, it sometimes uses the alternative flag, which depicts the coat of arms in the center. The Polish eagle makes the flag more identifiable for non-Polish people. However, Indonesia does have an identical twin flag, if you will, Monaco, which is exactly the same other than the slightly different tone of red. Plus, Indonesia's is longer in official dimension. All the way in Oceania, two former British colonies, Australia and New Zealand. These two are often confused with each other in terms of flags, which has actually led to movements to change them in each country, with New Zealand going the furthest and putting a new proposal to a referendum, which failed. Very sadly, I might add, because a lot of the proposals were the best things I've ever seen in my life, like this kiwi bird shooting lasers out of its eyes. The New Zealand flag is a blue field with a Union Jack on its canton, and then it has 4 red stars outlined in white, representing the 4 brightest stars in the Southern Cross constellation. The Australian flag has the same basis as the New Zealand one, also having been a British protectorate, but their stars are different. Australia has a star below the Union Jack, which represents Australia itself. The similarity of flags is very common in areas or countries that still use the Union Jack canton flags, like Tuvalu or Fiji, for instance. Back in Africa, Côte d'Ivoire. Yellow, white, and green. If it sounds familiar, it's because it's very similar to the Irish flag, as well as the Indian one. But the Indian flag has the national symbol in the center, while the Irish one has a reversed order on the colors, switching the green with the orange. We've mentioned this next one in a video about Nordic flags, but I feel like it's worth mentioning again. Norway and Iceland. Their flags use an identical design, but with the colors sort of reversed. Both have their origins in the Danish flag, with its red field and white Scandinavian cross. The Norwegian flag has a red field with a white bordered blue cross, while Iceland's has a blue field with a white bordered red cross. But I feel like due to their common template, most Nordic flags could be confused with each other. Moving to South America, 3 flags are very similar: Colombia, Venezuela, and Ecuador. A flag of unequal yellow, blue, and red horizontal stripes was adopted by the now unexisting country of GRAN Colombia in 1822. GRAN Colombia was dissolved in 1830, but the succeeding states of Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela incorporated the flag's tricolor design into their respective flags. Those of Colombia and Ecuador retained the larger yellow stripe, while Venezuela chose to even out the stripes. Ecuador and Venezuela also distinguished themselves by using some of their national symbols on top of the striped colors. In the Caucasus region, Armenia uses a similar flag with equal stripes and inverted colors. Next, 2 very small countries who for a long time didn't realize they had the same flag: Haiti and Liechtenstein. Until 1937, they both used horizontal bicolors of blue and red, and during the Olympics of the time, it came to their attention that the 2 countries had inadvertently used the same flag. To solve this, they both decided to change it. Liechtenstein added a crown to theirs and Haiti the national coat of arms. 2 flags that are also distinguished by the coat of arms are Mexico and Italy. The tones of the colors are slightly different, but the main aspect is that the Mexican eagle is in the center of their flag. A little to the south of Mexico, we used to have the Federal Republic of Central America. This country didn't last long, but when it dissolved into many small countries, its aesthetic remained, if you will. Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua kept the same light blue and white style, only having Costa Rica choose a different path, using an inverted version of the flag of Thailand. 2 countries that have nothing to do with each other. But there are also many more countries that share common aspects on their flags, without being related in any manner. The Philippines, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and the independence movement of Catalonia all use this triangle pointing right thing with a star in its center, except the Philippines, which has 3. And this list never ends. We could literally stay here for hours, talking about common aspects between flags from all over the world. Netherlands, Luxembourg, Croatia, and Paraguay all use the same background. Hungary is similar to Tajikistan, and Iran uses an inverted color. Uruguay and Greece are very similar. Russia, Serbia, and almost all Slavic countries use the same color schemes. Egypt, Iraq, Yemen, Sudan, and Syria use the same horizontal tricolor based on the flag of the Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire in World War I. Peru and Canada are the same, except for the maple leaf. Austria, Latvia, and Lebanon are pretty close too. Vietnam and Somalia look like polar opposites of each other, just like Japan, Bangladesh, and Palau. Bahrain and Qatar are very close, only changing the number of white triangles and the color of the background. And Samoa, Taiwan, and the former flag of Myanmar are also extremely similar, with a red field and a blue canton containing a white symbol. Essentially, the world is filled with flags that look alike, either by coincidence, by having common influence, or by inspiration amongst each other. We could talk about flags that look the same as a whole, or of common elements which are shared even if the flags are different, like the Nordic Star, the 4 brightest stars in the Southern Cross constellation, the red berets of South and Central America, or the white stars, or even the crescent moons. To sum up, all flags are somewhat different, but all of them share at least one common element, but some more than others. So that was a quick look at similar flags from across the world. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to catch future ones. Leave a comment below with your favorite flag or with other similar flags that I might have forgotten, and I will see you next time.